Good evening. My name is Sergeant First Class Velasquez. I'll be giving you an information brief about my scariest moment. I will not be recapping about Afghanistan or Iraq, rather my scariest moment I've had with my kids. Many of you are moms, dads, uncles, aunts, cousins, or you have younger siblings, so I'm sure you can relate to scary moments you've had with your family as well. The key thing that I want everyone to take away is to know your equipment. A few years ago, I was stationed at Fort Wainwright, Alaska. The Chena River runs right through the post. So one Saturday I decided that I would go to the outdoor rec and I would take a 3-hour class so I can get my boat license and I can rent a boat. During the class, they covered the basic things like this is the state law, the whole of this boat does this kind of thing, these lights mean this and that, etc., etc. But what I'm about to tell you did not prepare me for anything that they were teaching in the class. And after the class was done, I rented a couple personal flotation devices for my 3 kids. And then I rented the boat, and me and a representative went out. We did a walk around the boat, did a quick PMCS sort of deal, and checked the BII. The BII consisted of an ammo can full of a wrench and a screwdriver to work on the motor. Once that was done, my children and we got in the boat, and then we started going up and down the river. We're having a pretty good time. I started doing little donuts on the boat and stuff like that. And before I knew it, the boat was kind of starting to tilt like this. This is the back of the boat, and it started filling with water. I didn't tactical pause or anything like that. I immediately told my kids to get to the front of the boat to kind of help balance it out like that so I can make it to the bank. Well, we did very slowly as water just kept coming into the boat because the boat still kind of stayed like this and water was gushing through the backside. Once I got to the bank, I emptied out the ammo can and I started pounding out all the water immediately. Once all the water was out, I found a little plug, plugged that bad boy in, and then we went right back to the outdoor rec. I found that same representative and I said, hey, you gave me a faulty boat. There's something wrong with this plug. It's messed up. It almost killed my kids. He told me that every time people bring in a boat, they pull out the plug, they let the water drain out, and it's my responsibility to put the plug back in before I get on the water. When I initially got on the water, the plug wasn't in, and that's why I started filling up with water. They didn't cover that in the class. I had no idea. So what you're supposed to do when you rent the boat is you're supposed to put the plug in, and then you go on the water, and if water starts coming into the boat, you pull out the plug, and then you rev it up the river, and then the water will gush out, and then you just plug it back in. It's just kind of like a repeat kind of process. I didn't know that. So the key takeaway with this thing is to know your equipment. My heart was like this. That was so scary. I was freaking out. I was shaking. Since then, PCS to a few other duty stations. I got my boat license for those states. I take my kids out on the water all the time. We have a really good time. But again, know your equipment. It's very important. Just to recap, my name is Sergeant First Class Velasquez. This is my information brief on my scariest moment. Hope you have a good evening.